language lessons. Today we are going to discuss the past simple affirmative form of the verbs. Before we go into our lesson, let's look at the picture that we have here behind me. So a woman is asking, why did you go home so early? And the man is answering, my boss told me, have a good day. So I went home. That's just a funny illustration, but the words told and went are a great example of the past simple affirmative form, and this is what we are going to discuss today. The affirmative form of the past simple is used to discuss actions that occurred and finished in the past. And here we have a short story about Lisa. Lisa worked in the hospital 2 years ago. Last year, she left her job as she moved to another city. So the words worked, left, and moved indicate the affirmative form of the past simple tense. And the phrases that are underlined 2 years ago and last year actually talk about the tense. This is past tense. So when we talk about the past simple affirmative form, we discuss regular verbs and irregular verbs. So the formation of the regular verbs is a very simple one. We only use the base of the verb and we add the suffix ed. Rain, rained. Point, pointed. Show, showed. Fix, fixed. Answer, answered. Visit, visited. And let's look how do we use them in our sentences. It rained 2 days ago. My sister visited us last week. Peter fixed his garage by himself yesterday. We do have some exceptions here. If a verb ends into the vowel E, we are just adding D. For example, arrive, we already have E at the end. Therefore, we would just add D. Arrived. Smile, smiled. If we have the verb that ends in consonant plus vowel Y, we would change Y into I and we would add the ending ed. For example, try, tried, carry, carried. And the verbs that end into consonant vowel consonant cluster, usually those are just one syllable words. We would double the consonant and end ed. Stop, stopped. Rub, rubbed. So we would double P here, and in this case, we double B. The last consonant would be doubled if the word has only one syllable. Stop, one syllable. Rub, rub, one syllable. Therefore, the last consonant in the past simple affirmative form would be doubled. Examples. Last year, I shopped only online. So shopped, we double P. Be careful with that cord on the floor. I almost tripped over it 5 minutes ago. So tripped, we double P. And the verb shop, trip, those are one syllable words and they have the consonant vowel consonant cluster. Therefore, we would double the last consonant. When we have irregular verbs, they would completely change their structure. And here I have a list of the most commonly used verbs that occur in our everyday speech. And let's look how do we change them. So bring would change to brought, tell, told, see, saw, eat, ate, grow, grew. Find, found. Be, was or were. Drink, drank. Break, broke. Make, made. And how do you use those words in the conversational format? Here we have a few examples. Children accidentally broke our neighbor's window last week, so we paid them $500. So here we have the words broke and paid. Those are examples of the irregular verbs. Abby was at the party last night and saw her boss there as well. So we have the verbs was and saw. Those are both examples of the irregular verbs. And as we talk about the past form, there are certain past time expressions like yesterday, ago, and last. So how do we use them? For example, yesterday, yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, 4 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, a week ago, 5 months ago, 10 years ago, last night, last week, last month, last year. And here we'll have a story about Nancy. So let's read that story. 2 years ago, Nancy worked at a bakery. It was a very hard job for her because of her schedule. Nancy baked pastries during the night time. One day, she came to her supervisor, Bob, and told him about her difficulties. Nancy asked Bob to change her night shift. Bob was a very gracious and kind person. He switched Nancy's schedule from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. When Nancy learned about the changes, she was very happy and grateful. Again, all the words that are highlighted in red color indicate either a regular or irregular form of the verb, and they are both used in the past simple affirmative form. So this is all for today's lesson. I hope you've learned something together with us, and I encourage you to subscribe and like our page. So stay tuned and look for more videos, and if you want to get more information, make sure you become a student at Highlands Community Charter and Technical Schools. Thank you so much, and see you later.